Yeah, it's crypto blood, Detroit flow, screaming from the D, knowing what to show, indicators are wrong point, OG since 12, invested in trade, living life like a pro, I'm Rucker, Jerry, it's just blood too, bad motherfucker but in a good way, boo, got my eyes on the charts, ain't no time to sleep. Get that money, gotta keep it creep. This my crypto blood, twist the toasters on the line. Stacking my coin, got the market on my mind. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum too. Cash is king, but I'm looking for a new move. I know the culture of the markets, like the streets. Got my finger on the pulse, can't nobody beat. I see the trends, I see the flow. Got my strategies in place, you know.
Yo, it's MineYourBiz on the mic, coming through the mist, talking crypto and privacy things you can't dismiss. YouTube's wild jungle, I'm the lion, can't resist. Guiding through the blockchain, teaching about the risk. Mind your biz, don't miss. Eeny, meeny, miny biz, we on a privacy blitz. Except in the mix, dropping knowledge with no tricks. YouTube to the wallet, keep it tight, no leaks. Click clack, I hack the facts, that's how I attack. From Bitcoin to Monero, stacking privacy back. YouTube's got eyes, but I'm the cloak in disguise. NYB on the rise, educating the wise. Mind your biz, don't miss. Eeny, meeny, miny biz, we on a privacy blitz. Except in the mix, dropping knowledge with no tricks. YouTube to the wallet, keep it tight, no leaks.
Rice TVX, the mic's live wire. American Pitbull, real gold buyer. Sound money advocate, rights defender. In the crypto arena, he's the top contender. From the gritty streets of the digital age, Rice lays wisdom, chapter and page. Silver, gold, he scores only the bold. Land, life, and liberty, these values hold.
Twitter, what's on? See me, the stands, evergreen at the sound of the
Constitution, deep dive, knowledge revival. Navigate the system, critical for survival. Rights engraved like inscriptions on metal. Pitbull in the game, lead foot on the pedal.
Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Okay. Ready?
Fucking thing sucks! We'll do it live. Okay.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I got my two favorites on with me again, back to back. Everyone loves this trio right here, man. We got to get back to doing these.
Just three wise men.
That's right. That's right. So a lot of people
are
asking.
Men week.
Three wise men week. There you go. We got the Fed decision is imminent. About 4 minutes before we know what's going on. What do you guys think? Give me kind of your thesis on what's going to happen today.
Seth, I'll let you go first, man.
I mean, I'm a bit of a perma bear or doomer when it comes to the entire situation. I think regardless of which way the Fed moves today, it's going to be a continued bloodbath in the markets, not because of interest rates, but because of prices. Because as you know, we got two variables to worry about when it comes to markets. So regardless of what kind of cuts or what kind of raises we get today, we're going to see prices reflected in all of the equities and across real estate. And so we're in a very dire situation, Blood. That's my bottom line take on today's potential announcement. That said, look, if I were a betting man, we're going to see 50 basis points.
50.
Yes.
Really?
If I were a betting man.
That's kind of going against the grain there, man, because
rice against the grain.
Poly market is calling for a 95% chance of 25, and the CME, I believe, if I look at it currently, is looking at 93.8. I don't see 50 happening, but this is like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Me and Blood have talked about this for a long time, for years. I've covered it in a lot of my interviews. I encourage people to check out the recent interview that I did with not only Lynette Zhang, but Tom Luongo. Lynette Zhang, we cover a lot about what's currently happening in economics and what's happening with the Federal Reserve. What can we look forward to or not look forward to? What is going to happen when, because it's not if, when interest rates are lower, because we talked about this, and I think the markets are going to either it's priced in at 25 or they're going to react positively, but ultimately it's going to be negative for Americans in general and people who hold the US dollar.
Right.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No.
It's kicking the can down the road.
Yeah. It's not good. No, Trump, and we talked about this before going live. Trump, looking to force the Fed to lower interest rates more aggressively is not a benefit to the American people, to the middle class America at all. It's going to cause asset prices to go higher. It's so crazy because he called what did he call it? A national emergency, home housing emergency or something like that.
Oh, where they're supposedly be stepping into the housing market because of
So if the economy is doing well, why do you declare national emergency on housing?
Right.
We can't have it both ways.
As he was campaigning, he was calling for a weaker dollar, and people, I don't think, really fully comprehend that. Like, okay, we're talking about crypto and stuff today too. When we talk about Bitcoin hitting something like $500,000 in value or $1 million per Bitcoin.
All right, what do we have?
That's not going to be good.
Do we have a decision?
Part of the reason why I think the Fed should cut rates this time around is to address those liquidity issues and repo rates rising and bank reserves and all the like. So I agree, with David and Francis. Look, we can debate the economics around this. We can talk about the unemployment rate, but the reality is I think that the Fed's insurance is really based on liquidity.
Francis, we've got 1 minute to go.
Flood was
and we
talking
have
about
possible
that liquidity.
dissents. How much does the non-interest rate stuff matter?
Well, for the economy, it's not what the non-interest rate stuff is. It's what the interest rates actually do. And I'm going to pick up on David's point here. We got to be really careful. We're going to get headlines all today. The Fed's cut rates. This is not going to improve the U.S. economy very much at all. What ails the U.S. economy is not interest rate sensitive. It's a massive trade shock. It is a labor shortage. It's an uncertainty shock at play. So even though we see a Fed today, even though we're going to see lots around dissents, and that matters to the story of the Federal Reserve, today matters way less for the real economy than maybe the headlines will imply.
I've said it before, David. I don't know what the Federal Reserve does about, auto insurance rates that are up 40% in a year, electricity bills that are up 20% a year.
Or what I call it, the tariff flu. The tariff flu both slows you down and also gives you a temperature. And that's really what's the problem here. And the Fed really isn't the remedy.
All right, so with about 10 seconds to go, we got the Dow up 0.6%. Small caps, the mid cap stocks up about 0.2%. But I'm going to stop talking because Steve's got the decision.
Federal Reserve cutting interest rates by 1/4 point as expected to a new range of 4 to 4.25%. New Fed governor and former CEO, current CEA chair, Stephen Myron dissenting in favor of 50 basis point cut. The median Fed official looking for 2 more rate cuts this year, but just barely. I'll get you details on that in a second. The statement importantly says the balance of risks have shifted. Downside risk to employment has risen. Job gains have slowed, unemployment has edged up, and economic activity has moderated. At the same time, the statement does note that inflation has moved up and remains somewhat elevated, but clearly the Fed favoring the concern about employment here over the concern about inflation. It says uncertainty remains elevated as well. On the rate outlook and the so-called dot plot, some really interesting movements here. As I said, the median Fed official forecasting 2 more rate cuts this year, but just barely. There was massive disagreements among officials on the rate outlook for 2025. Very unusual with just 2 more meetings remaining. Let me give you the data here. One official doesn't want to cut at all. There was no other dissent in favor of not cutting today, but one wrote down the current rate or the previous rate as their dot. 6 want no more cuts after this one. 9 want 2 more cuts. And one official, I guess we can guess who it is, wants 5 more 1/4 point cuts this year, or 125 basis points, to bring the Fed funds rate down below the median neutral rate. So there's a big-time dove on the committee. I think the committee at the headquarters here will have some fun figuring out who exactly that is. The median wants 1 cut in 27 and 1 in 28. So I'll give you the numbers now. 3.6 is the median forecast for this year on the funds rate, down from the current of 4.125. So that's 2 cuts. 3.4 for 27 and 3.1 for 2028. A little bit more on the economic outlook. Core inflation unchanged. The outlook for this year at 3%. Unemployment unchanged at 4.5%. GDP pushed up a little bit to 1.6 from 1.4. 5 members want to go below the 3% neutral rate in 2026. That's up from 2 in September. So they're looking for a little bit of stimulus down the road next year in the funds rate. 6 want to do so by 2027. Brian, I'll send it back to you and the smart people around the table there to make sense of all this.
Well, that's a pretty smart person down there in D.C. too, Steve. Should we assume that it is new Fed member Stephen Myron that is calling for the 5 1/4 point cuts over the next couple of meetings?
This was my speculation leading into this, and that's what I think it is, Brian. I think it's Stephen Myron out there basically doing the president's bidding, calling for very sharp rate cuts immediately. I guess that would be, in order to get there, you'd have to have a 75 and a 50 from here. So one of the remaining meetings would have to be a 75, one would have to be a 50 in order for Stephen Myron's outlook, or the person whose dot this is, their outlook to be accurate.
Yeah, that dot, as they say, is kind of like this Canadian reference, the yellow knife in the Northwest Territories, kind of way up and out there. Steve, stick around.
There was a joke, Brian, there was a joke among one of the Fed reporters here that we were going to have to get a legal pad to get the dot plot together. It'd have to be a longer piece of paper.
I love that. You go from the 11.5 inch to the full 14. I mean,
damn, 11.5. What's going on?
I'm like, where do we just turn the conversation to?
Where do we just go here, guys? Wait a minute.
Each other off, and then they start talking about sizes.
Yeah, that's a little too far. So as you guys saw, 25 basis points, spot on. A lot of people thought it was 25, but what about the additional? It's the forecast of what the market is looking for after these cuts.
We just got a signal, folks.
We got a signal?
Yeah, we just got a blood signal.
You can hear it?
Yes.
Why can't you hear it? I muted it.
We heard it. Ask everybody out there. Did you hear some dinging, some bell that sounded like the beginning of a horse race?
Yeah, or like a cash register.
We're looking at Bitcoin. Is this a minute? 5 minute
chart. 5 minute chart. Bitcoin double long on Bloodalytics. We went long earlier today or last night at 11. Oh, I'm sorry. No, yesterday, and then we went double long here this morning. So we're long. We're long. So hopefully we can go up and out, up and to the right. That would be great for us. But a lot of whipsawing activity going on at when, of course, as the numbers came out. But I don't know, man. I think
okay, well, just look real quick. I haven't looked at the chart, but I can see that gold is up 3706, and it was right under 3700. So it's starting to move upward itself.
Yeah.
You know, I think we hit all-time highs yesterday at the 3700 area. Silver's like 42. Commodities is what people need to like really be paying attention to over the next little while, or maybe forever.
You got a screen? You want to share something, or you just?
Oh, I don't have. No, I wasn't pulling up charts. I'm just looking at a precious metal dealer's site where they have prices listed. So I'm not trying to look at the chart, but I do see that
Fed can't fix unemployment. They never could, in my opinion. I don't even know why that's a mandate of theirs. It's the most craziest thing I've ever.
Well, the mandate is to keep the economy stable, which would include having people participate in the working force. So it's incentivizing the employers. It's to hire more people.
How does their interest rates incentivize employers?
That I couldn't answer.
No, it can't possibly. I mean, especially like you're saying, the long-term price action of what's going to happen to everything after any kind of a cut. I mean, all it's going to do is prime the political sphere to ask for more price fixing in certain territories vis-a-vis, minimum wage hikes, or people saying like you must pay a living wage that inevitably is going to have to go up because the price of everything else is going up. So, right. I mean, how does it help? It helps the agenda of authoritarians and globalists, but it doesn't help the person that they actually say they're trying to help. No.
We got six weeks away roughly for the next FOMC meeting at the end of October, right before Halloween. And then the last one this year would be the 9th and 10th. And so it's a full month, 5 weeks in between. So 6 weeks and 5 weeks between those two. So, I mean, unless something really dire happens in the economy between now and the end of October, this is probably where we're going to sit. But I think that we still have the possibility, and I wouldn't be surprised, depending on the economy, that we could see emergency cuts that don't take place during FOMC meetings.
Yeah.
What do you think about the idea of emergency cuts?
That's
because there's only two more meetings, and if they're calling, that would be 3 rate cuts this year. But some Fed shares are calling for 5. So how would you do 5? You would have to do emergency.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be really interesting, man. And again, it's just damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I'm gonna be really curious to see what Powell is gonna have to say, because again, this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't. So his language at this point, because I think the 25 basis points has been priced in for the most part. What he says is gonna obviously reflect on the market more than anything.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably going to be one of the most important times to pay attention to what he is saying.
You think so?
I think so. Just for signals.
I think every time he gets up there means nothing, because the next time he gets up there, it's a whole new script. Like there's no continuity in his message.
I'm going to try to pay attention a little bit better this time and see if there's something.
I'm just going to watch how the women hold the mics. That's all I'm
talking about. When he talks by himself before we get into the mic holding episode, there's a portion of that where it's just Powell talking, just him. Not taking questions. Then he takes questions. When he's talking before he takes questions, I'm going to really pay attention to a lot of what he's saying. Obviously, I'm going to pay attention to the questions and answers. And I think based on tough journalists.
Yeah. And based on that preamble we watched also, I think we might unfortunately have to watch how the men are holding the mics too this time. Something's not right. Something's really not right in the water.
Right. That's crazy. So yeah, we'll probably get another reaction, as you guys know how this plays out. Another reaction from the markets once Jerome Powell gets up there and starts contradicting himself. So we just
looking at something like CoinMarketCap, it looks like nothing has been affected. So again, I think it's going to depend on what the hell Chair Powell says. Actually, it looks like Bitcoin is down right now, like 1% from when I was looking at, well, 15.9. It was at 116. I thought it said something lower than 115.9. Ethereum is slightly under what it was before it started.
Where's the controversial shit? Look up Monero.
XRP is like showing a little upward action.
Where's Monero? I'm calling it right now.
It wouldn't surprise me if they just delist Monero and all the privacy coins from those sites.
Doesn't matter. There's permissionless
down
protocols to do atomic swaps with
8%.
Bitcoin.
Now, I would actually like to do a separate episode, whether we do it together or I do it with Seth, to talk about this qubit thing that happened with Monero and the reorganization of blocks, because there was a reorg of blocks, and that's not good.
Let's run it. No, let's run it. There's more nuance than that. But what I'm going to say is Monero isn't going anywhere. You'll notice that people who use it still use it.
So what happened, Seth? I didn't hear about this.
So there's a group called Cubic that they have
and it's
Cubic.
He's a Cubic. Okay, okay, and it's some OG crypto guy who's behind the project. Do you know his name?
Yeah, but he's suffering delusions of grandeur, and he's starting to claim that he's Satoshi, or his followers are starting to claim that he's Satoshi, and he's not correcting them. It's not going to end well for him, dude.
Okay.
You ask yourself, of all the OGs that can do dangerous things in crypto, which community do you not want to piss off?
So
probably the Monero.
I think what Cubic is doing is trying to do like 51% attacks on proof of work chains, and they I think got up to like 36% of the Monero chain, and reorganized 6 blocks, I think, if I understood it correctly. But that's
something along those lines. Yeah, something along those lines. But here's the thing: what they didn't successfully do was actually double spend anything. They didn't successfully alter the motion of the network. They didn't successfully de-anonymize.
I don't think they tried to do those things. I think they were making a point with.
No, they weren't. Yeah, they made a point, but their point was this: they used faulty Oracle data to make it look as though they had more hash rate on the Monero network than they really did. And beyond that, reorganizing blocks, mining is a very complex ecosystem, man. There's such a thing as mining empty blocks. Blood, you remember this shit from back in the day on Bitcoin and even Litecoin. You've been around long enough to have seen this. Dash, every single proof of work system that started proof of work and then kind of continues in a hybrid model has been subject to this kind of manipulation in the past, where selfish miners can mine empty blocks and then claim, hey, look at what we did here. Oh, look what we organized over there. But now with faulty Oracle data, which is ultimately what it proved to be in the case of Cubic, they can say whatever they want, and they can inject, junk data into the streams where they're telling everybody else, like, look at the reports that we just generated. Oh my God, it looks like these guys, it looks like they had 35% of the net hash, which, never mind the fact that's not enough to do a reorg of any significant damage. They didn't do a reorg of any significant damage. They postured as though they were going to, and then the Monero community discovered their little basic, lie of an exploit and summarily dismissed them. That's why the price action, even though you see 8% down on the daily right now, why it recovered immediately from being in the lower 200s. So like
it's up 10% for the week, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. What you see is a healthy retracement after a very, very, very exciting week, when the rest of the Monero community just said, basically, collectively, fuck these guys.
Well, I heard something to the effect that there may be like Doge maybe next, as far as what they're going to be doing, what they did to Monero, something similar to Doge, from what I understood. Do you know?
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. The net hash on Doge is so robust because, as you know, Doge is merge mined with Litecoin. Yeah, I mean, it's like next they're going to say that they're going to get some kind of significant hash rate on Bitcoin, and if they're running the same scam, then the people who actually run security for those ecosystems, it's going to be easier to dismiss them after the Monero community already told that guy to to pound sand. So,
who is the founder of the project, though?
I don't know him personally. I'd have to look him up to know the exact identity, but I guarantee you there are people who are far more interested in that than I am, who are already digging deeply into that.
Sergey Ivan Cheglo?
Look, all I'm going to say is I don't know who the guy is, so when somebody else doxes him, it wasn't me.
But he was one of the co-founders of IOTA and NXT.
Oh, I remember IOTA. What happened to that project?
IOTA introduced the direct acyclic graph, the DAG technology.
I thought Hashgraph did. Not
But
Hashgraph,
is that the
Hedera
guy
did.
is that the guy who the cubic community is calling Satoshi? Is this Ivan Cheglo?
Maybe.
I'm just curious. To me, that's one of the most interesting things that's happening in crypto. I could care less for everything else. I could care less for
No, agreed. This matters. And it matters because most people, hey, I brought up XMR also, so I appreciate you like riffing on that. But it matters for crypto because right now, when we're looking at some of these manipulations that, I mean, collectively, the three of us have asked, why the hell do we have to tune into Chairman Powell, right? Why is this a ritual that we're forced to do, right, in this ecosystem? And I think the bottom line, in my estimation, the explanation is manipulation. Like we have to know how we're being manipulated, so we know what to do next. Like,
yeah, but
look,
all the crypto people didn't used to do this. Me and Blood had been covering FOMC meetings for years. Years.
Right.
Some of these other channels that I'm not going to name that are our peers, they weren't doing it for years.
Sure. Right. But at the same time,
so that's when that's how you know it's propagated fully now into this into the system. Right.
Yes, and
system.
And here's the thing: you should rejoice, right? You heralded a new age in crypto media, right? You helped bring some people out of the darkness into the light. Imagine what would be happening to people who are holding crypto if what you did, what you innovated, hadn't been imitated by other people. Like, you'd have a lot more people who are struggling right now to understand how these markets are being manipulated. All this is to say, like, okay, if we're looking at FOMC meeting and that being like one of the biggest leading indicators of manipulation of monetary supply and of value, right, that could be injected into crypto, or it could be assigned to crypto, even if we know that it's not real value that's going in, not real capital inflows, but just inflation that's making its way into the supply of cryptos. What I'm saying is, we need to understand where the escape hatches are. And largely, some of the escape hatches are XMR, Monero, privacy-oriented coins, stuff that allows you to use your cryptocurrency the way you want to without surveillance. Yeah. Because otherwise, you're seeing artificial value that's bleeding into cryptocurrency values without real capital injection, without real value injection, and then also surveillance on top of it. Well, so it's like a giant middle finger on top of them, printing fake money.
Because of what's happened with TradFi kind of assimilating itself and in a sense kind of taking over a lot of the crypto market, I think that kind of, if we're going to kind of keep that older cypherpunk ethos, it's going to be in the privacy coins.
Yes. No, and I've been shouting it from the rooftop since 2020. You've been there. You've seen almost every single coin.
A lot of old school Bitcoiners are just don't like, some people that were planning on holding for a lot longer, like OGs that have been dumping. I mean, because there's been a lot of OGs dumping, and I think a lot of it has to do with the ethos of Bitcoin and how Bitcoin has changed, and a lot of people just, they got it cheap and they're ready to take some profits and just move on, because what can you do when you have BlackRock doing what BlackRock does?
Right.
They BlackRocking. That's what BlackRock does. They BlackRock.
Yeah, but beyond that, like, so I mean,
I feel like that's a racially toned sentence.
Yeah, man.
There, Mr.
We should create a White Rock.
Where's
then.
Donald Muhammad for you?
Oh, he's somewhere in the chat. You know that. I already seen.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say, you guys go ahead and you make White Rock. I'll go ghostwrite the book 50 Shades of Grey Rock, and then we'll get all the women's money, all the white liberal women's
Shades
money.
of Grey Rock.
Yeah.
That's funny. So we got Powell in about 10 more minutes.
Ultimately, how do you think? Because what are we looking at with Bitcoin right now? How is it? Is it?
It's whipsawing right now. It's we're at 115, 425 at the moment.
So we're down $500, which is, well, in the past 24 hours, 1.2%. So far it doesn't look like, and Ethereum's holding up a little bit better, but everything will follow.
Yeah, it's just washing out anyone right now.
It's washing out all those longs.
A lot. Trying to. It tried to
also,
wash us out.
Also the double
analytics.
It didn't get the
right.
The double,
look at that. It tried, but not yet, buddy. Not yet.
No cigar.
No cigar. Close, but no cigar, my friend.
I haven't seen you with the cigar. Where's your cigars?
I don't think he gets to smoke one until. I thought it was going to be a whole bit you were going to do there. You don't get to smoke one until you're all the way back up from the whipsaw.
Right. That's what it should be.
Nice. Again, I just don't think this is going to be good. I encourage people to, look into gold, silver, precious metals. Obviously, have been performing well. Good way of preserving your what you have, preserving what you have. You're not buying, investing, buying gold and silver to get rich. You're just trying to keep what you have so it's not being diminished because of what's happening with inflation and all that bullshit. It gives you more control. And
on this panel, I'm the resident lead and brass advocate. Invest in lead and brass and the means to use it.
Yes. And 3D printers.
3D printers are big. They're big.
Apparently they're cheap, and I'm going to invest in some.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I've got to get the affiliate link going out there for the Elegoo. I think it's $400 all in for the 3D printer, self-leveling. I'm just saying you can be a normie and make this thing do whatever you want, and it comes with carbon reinforced nylon filament, so you can print really sturdy parts.
Yeah,
really sturdy things.
Yes. I've been trying. Actually, I reached out to Amir Taki to try to do another interview with him and asked him if he's got contact with Cody Wilson.
Nice. Yeah, have fun with that.
I'd like to talk to Cody Wilson. I think that would be an interesting conversation.
Have fun getting us all on new watch list, you bastard.
Look, Jack Cruz, his assistant has reached out to me and talked.
I got you, bro. 10 pounds. Get you back in there.
What happened to you on 10 pound? Like, I had some 10 pound on Telegram trying to do some crazy shit. I don't think it had anything to do with the real 10 pound. Like, I think there was some scammer 10 pound that was messaging me, and the account's been gone. His account's gone. So I don't know if he's Juan Fitty or if he is 10 pound on Telegram. I think he's Juan Fitty.
I don't know, man.
But yeah,
what's going on, 10 pound? Let us know what happened.
There was somebody, if it was him, he was trying to tell me about something to do with ordinals and downloading a Unisat wallet.
Whoa. Yeah, the last 10 pound I talked to was talking about very legitimate above board things in Dubai. Sounded like the 10 pound I know.
I don't think that 10 pound went to Dubai.
I didn't say he went to Dubai.
He went to Nigeria.
Oh. Nigeria. I heard another signal.
Oh my God, bro. I can't even. How do you hear something I don't even hear anymore? Because I muted it.
I don't know.
That's
I've
the
heard
craziest thing ever,
Did
bro.
you hear it, chat?
Settle this. Tell us. Chat. Give us a heads up here.
Yeah,
Y'all heard it too, right?
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it.
It's
not
not
just in your
like
head.
I'm not going cray here. It's not like I'm getting signals being sent and MK Ultra shit happening in my brain. God technology speaking in my head.
Right. Yeah. In the mouths of 2 or 3 witnesses.
Yeah, just the Nordics or the other tall grays talking to you.
No, I haven't had that, but I have invited it. I've invited. So yeah, I don't think that was the person I was talking to, but he had your shit 10 pound. It was like your shit.
So, yeah.
But the account had been deleted.
What's your new handle, 10 pound? Let us know so I can add you back into all the rooms.
Or just message us if you don't want to dox yourself.
Yeah, and why the hell did you delete your account? But that's for another conversation.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know, actually.
He probably did something that he wanted to get away from. You know how us anarchists are.
Come on, 10 pound. Don't crash out, baby. Don't crash out.
Okay, so looking, gold is down. It's down. No, it's not down. It was down like $4. So yeah, I think everybody's going to be lingering on what Chair Powell has to say, and that's going to affect.
It seems that way.
It's crazy because it seems like everything just kind of like in this hold still. Look at the fear and greed index. It's like a hold still. You can't get much more.
51.
You can't get much more even than that. Only 1 degree away from complete evenness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this is crazy. Everything is kind of like, what's this motherfucker gonna say?
What's with the what's with the black voice?
Why is that voice got to be black?
What's with the tropical storm black voice on us, bro? All you need is the paint.
Tropical storm, tropical thunder black voice. Get it right.
Yeah,
Whatever.
He's gonna do the next stream in blackface and be like, "What? Huh?
That movie.
That was a good movie. Yeah, no, that was a good movie, man. Robert Downey did his thing on that one.
Speaking of movies, I suggested to Hotep. He apparently had. I still don't think he watched it because he said he doesn't like white people movies. Idiocracy. He doesn't like white comedy, is what he said.
Dude, it's not white comedy. Huh? It's Jewish comedy, and it has Terrence. It has anyway.
It has Terry Crews in it as
Terry Crews.
Hector Macho Camacho Mountain Dew, the president.
Dude, the president is black in that movie.
Yes, he is. He's Terry Crews.
Terrence H. Crews.
That is such an awesome movie, and it's anybody who sees it who hasn't seen it, realizes that it's not just a movie; it's like a documentary that was released in the future that just happened to time travel its way back to us as a warning from future humanity, because this is what is happening to our society: is everybody's becoming stupid, and if you really look around you, everybody is becoming stupid.
Yeah, that was the high sign to have as many kids as you could before the instupification of humanity took place.
Everybody believes everything they're told. They see it's the world is a stage, and I'm not even sure what's real anymore.
That's a really brilliant point there, man. Because as we enter the age of automation and robotics and quantum computing, there's going to be stuff that's going to be possible that I think will blow minds.
It's so crazy you bring that up, bro, because after our stream yesterday, I went out and met with my fellas. One of my guys, a good friend of mine, he's in from Atlanta, and my two other buddies, and we went to the cigar lounge and we were talking, and he doesn't have kids, but the other two do. And we're trying to explain to him, you're not understanding what's going on with this AI stuff, man. I said, when we look at our kids, we are concerned about what their future is going to look like.
Well, not only, but that how it's being used, like with that situation with the Charlie Kirk assassin and people like basically photoshopping in or AI, using AI to make it look like he's wearing a Trump shirt when he's never wore a Trump shirt. And how many people fell for that?
Ooh, that video you sent me last night.
Now there are people that have to download images and run it in AI and try to make sure that it's it's a real image or a fake image. But when AI can't tell the AI images, then we're, I think, going to have a lot more of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Which video did I send?
Candace Owens.
Oh yeah, you got to watch the one from yesterday though. She's brutal.
That's the one I watched, I think.
You might have watched.
What did you send me?
I thought I sent both. I think I sent you Mondays or Fridays.
I watched the last one you sent me. The most recent one you sent.
There's one before it then.
Thanks, Dave.
Because in the first one, she talks about like her actual relationship with Charlie. Like they spent, I think, close to 2 years on the road traveling together.
I didn't see that one. I saw the one after.
Like they were like hanging out, singing Kanye songs and shit. Like apparently like the song Powerful they really like, and they would like sing it, rap it together and shit. They were really close. I think I can
see the hurt. I can see the hurt in the one I
Charlie Kirk either introduced her to her husband or was there when they met. Or both. Geez. It was one or the other because her husband's from England, I believe.
She went in, bro.
What she did with the Xavier Poussard stuff in regards to Brigitte Macron being a man.
Oh my God.
Which wasn't hers, but she did extra research, and because of her who she is, she's getting a lot of tips from people on all different angles, and she's got a team. Like she's so. I think you might have heard it in the yesterday's. She has somebody in her producer in her ear who actually got on and talked. That doesn't happen very often. So that's the first time I knew that she had.
That's first time.
She has a very professional team. Very professional.
That's the first time I heard her producer talk as well.
I would almost like to go work for her team collecting information. But yeah, so where is Chair? He's late.
Our feed is extra late. It's like our feed is literally like almost a minute late.
Our feed coming like how it's coming off on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah. This little janky.
Yeah, but usually Chair Powell's out by 2:30 speaking, and it's 2:31.
I know, but I'm saying this feed that I'm showing the audience is
the feed that I thought you said our stream was delayed.
No.
Okay.
Let's see.
Mr. Clarida, thank you. Steve Grasso, we'll see you tonight on Fast Money, 5 p.m. And as we noted, right on time, Jerome Powell.
A minute.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. While the unemployment rate remains low, it has edged up. Job gains have slowed, and downside risks to employment have risen. At the same time, inflation has risen recently and remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, and in light of the shift in the balance of risks, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by 1/4 percentage point. We also decided to continue to reduce our securities holdings. I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity has moderated. GDP rose at a pace of around 1.5% in the first half of the year, down from 2.5% last year. The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. In contrast, business investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from last year's pace. Activity in the housing sector remains weak. In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects GDP to rise 1.6% this year and 1.8% next year, a touch stronger than projected in June. In the labor market, the unemployment rate edged up to 4.3% in August, but remains little changed over the past year at a relatively low level.
A lot of edging.
Payroll job gains have slowed significantly to a pace of just 29,000 per month over the past 3 months.
A median pace.
A good part of the slowing likely reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and lower labor force participation. Even so, labor demand has softened, and the recent pace of job creation appears to be running below the break-even rate needed to hold the unemployment rate constant. In addition, wage growth has continued to moderate while still outpacing inflation. Overall, the marked slowing in both the supply of and demand for workers is unusual. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer labor market, the downside risks to employment appear to have risen. In our SEP, the median projection for the unemployment rate is 4.5% at the end of this year and edges down thereafter. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Estimates based on the Consumer Price Index and other data indicate that total PCE prices rose 2.7% over the 12 months ending in August, and that, excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 2.9%. These readings are higher than earlier in the year as inflation for goods has picked up. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing for services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have moved up, on balance, over the course of this year on news about tariffs, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Beyond the next year or so, however, most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation is 3.0% this year and falls to 2.6% in 2026 and to 2.1% in 2027. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by 1/4 percentage point to 4 to 4.25%, and to continue reducing the size of our balance sheet. Changes to government policies continue to evolve, and their effects on the economy remain uncertain. Higher tariffs have begun to push up prices in some categories of goods, but their overall effects on economic activity and inflation remain to be seen. A reasonable base case is that the effects on inflation will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. But it is also possible that the inflationary effects could instead be more persistent, and that is a risk to be assessed and managed. Our obligation is to ensure that a one-time increase in the price level does not become an ongoing inflation problem. In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation. When our goals are in tension like this, our framework calls for us to balance both sides of our dual mandate. With downside risks to employment having increased, the balance of risks has shifted. Accordingly, we judged it appropriate at this meeting to take another step toward a more neutral policy stance. With today's decision, we remain well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments. We will continue to determine the appropriate stance of monetary policy based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. In our SEP, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path for the federal funds rate, based on what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario for the economy. The median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 3.6% at the end of this year, 3.4% at the end of 2026, and 3.1% at the end of 2027. This path is 1/4 percentage point lower than projected in June. As is always the case, these
markets are
individual
not liking
forecasts are
this shit
subject
right
to
now.
uncertainty, and they're not a committee plan or decision. Policy is not on a preset course. The Fed has been assigned two goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing inflation sustainably to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission, and we at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you. I look forward to our discussion.
You sound so sad.
Right.
Oh, so short.
Thank you. Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. As you know, Fed Governor Stephen Miron has continued.
He loves that mic.
Kept his position at the White House, even as he's joined the Fed board. This is the first time, I believe, the Fed's board has had someone with executive branch ties in decades.
He needs to do something
Does
with
this
that other
compromise
hand,
the Fed's independence from day-to-day politics? And relatedly, how can you maintain the public's perception the Fed is politically independent with this dynamic? Thank you.
So we did welcome a new committee member today, as we always do, and the committee remains united in pursuing our dual mandate goals. We're strongly committed to maintaining our independence, and beyond that, I really don't have anything to share.
Shit.
Wow. You and other Fed officials have spoken extensively about the impact of tariffs on inflation.
Yeah,
although
Bitcoin touched
perhaps with many companies
115,000
appearing to eat the tariffs,
We're going down further.
And tariffs may be impacting the labor market and other parts of the economy instead. Do you see that as a possible outcome here, that tariffs are the reason we're seeing some slowing, particularly in the labor market, rather than in inflation?
You know, it's certainly possible. You know, we're beginning to see, we have begun to see goods prices showing through into higher inflation, and actually the increase in goods prices accounts for most of the increase in inflation, or perhaps all of the increase in inflation over the course of this year. Those are not very large effects at this point, and we do expect them to continue to build over the course of the rest of the year and into next year. And you know, it's also possible that there may be effects on employment, but that I would say if you're looking at why employment is doing what it's doing, that's much more about the change in immigration. So the supply of workers has obviously come way down. There's very little growth, if any, in the supply of workers. And at the same time, demand for workers has also come down quite sharply, and to the point where we see what I've called a curious balance. It's, typically when we say things are in balance, that sounds good, but in this case, the balance is because both supply and demand have come down quite sharply. Now demand coming down a little more sharply because we now see the unemployment rate edging up.
Is like edging the word of the day here or something?
You got it. For the Wall Street Journal.
Like
Chair Powell, do economic conditions and the balance of risks no longer warrant a restrictive policy setting?
So I don't think we can say that. What we can say is this, that over the course of this year, we've kept our policy at a restrictive level, and people have different views, but a clearly restrictive level, I would say. So, and we were able to do that over the course of this year because the labor market was in very solid condition with strong job creation and all those things. I think if you go back to April and now look at the revised job creation numbers for May, June, July, and August, I can no longer say that. So what that means is that the risks were clearly tilted toward inflation. I would say they're moving toward equality. Maybe they're not quite out of equality. We don't need to know that, but we do know that they've moved meaningfully toward greater equality, the risks between the two goals, and that suggests that we should be moving in the direction of neutral, and that's what we did today.
Under what circumstances would a larger than 25 basis points rate cut be warranted, and how seriously was that option entertained at your meeting this week?
There wasn't widespread support at all for a 50 basis point cut today. I think we've done very large rate hikes and very large rate cuts in the last 5 years. And you tend to do those at a time when you feel that policy is out of place and needs to move quickly to a new place. That's not at all what I feel certainly now. I feel like our policy has been doing the right thing so far this year. I think we were right to wait and see how tariffs and inflation and the labor market evolved. I think we're now reacting to the much lower level of job creation and other evidence of softening in the labor market and saying, well, those risks are maybe not fully balanced, but moving in the direction of balance now. And so that warrants a change in policy.
Colby Smith with the New York Times. Should we be viewing today's cut as the committee taking out some insurance against the possibility that the labor market is at risk of weakening? Or is it the committee's view that the dynamics of a downturn are already in place? I guess I'm just trying to square the shift in the rate forecast in the SEP towards more cuts than just 3 months ago with the fact that the forecast for unemployment didn't change.
Yeah, I think you could think of this in a way as a risk management cut, because if you look at the SEP, actually the projections for growth this year and next actually ticked up just a little bit, and inflation and unemployment didn't really move much. So what's different now? What's different now is that you see a very different picture of the risks to the labor market. You've seen, we were looking at 150,000 jobs a month at the time of the last meeting. And now we see the revisions and we see the new numbers. And I don't want to put too much emphasis on payroll job creation, but it's just one of the things that suggests that the labor market is really cooling off. And that tells you that it's time to take that into account in our policy.
So just looking at the SEP, once again, the median participant has inflation higher than previously expected by the end of next year, and the Fed not getting back to the 2% target until 2028. So I guess I'm just wondering how you characterize the risk to price pressures of kicking off a series of cuts at this point.
Yeah, so I would look at it this way. We fully understand and appreciate that we need to remain fully committed to restoring 2% inflation on a sustained basis, and we will do that. At the same time, we've got to weigh the risks to the two goals. And I would say since April, to me, the risks of higher and more persistent inflation have probably become a little less. And that's partly because the labor market has softened, GDP growth has slowed. So I would just say that the risks there have been less than one might think. And in terms of the labor market, what we're seeing is unemployment is still low. It's still a relatively low rate, but we're seeing downside risks.
Michael McKee from Bloomberg Radio and Television. I'm a little confused by your explanation of the Fed cutting rates because of unemployment if you think that most of what's happening in the employment
Did he
area
actually
is
introduce
related to
himself as
immigration,
coming from
which
television?
your rate cuts wouldn't address?
I didn't hear you.
How do you see that as more important than inflation, which has remained almost a full percentage point above your target?
Well, I was saying that what's happening in the labor market has more to do with immigration than it has to do with tariffs. That was the question I was answering. So I wouldn't say that all of what's happening in the labor market is due to tariffs. I mean, you clearly have a slowing in it due to immigration. You clearly have a slowing in demand, which is now perhaps more than that in supply, and we know that because the unemployment rate has ticked up. So, that's what I meant by that.
If I can follow up. Every year since 2015, the SEP has forecast that you would hit your target 2 years later. And this year, this SEP says you're going to hit your target 2 years later. 2% does not seem to be in sight. Does that suggest that the 2% target is not really achievable? And does this present any credibility problems for you in telling people that that's what you're going to do if you can never reach it?
Well, I mean, you're right. It does say we're going to get to 2% inflation in 2028 at the end of 28. But that's literally how you put the projections together. You're writing down a rate path, which is designed to create over the course of the SEP, time frame, 2% inflation and maximum employment too. So that's all that is. No one really knows where the economy will be in 3 years. But the nature of the exercise is to write down policy that you believe would return to the 2% goal over at least by the end of the exercise.
I thought we were actually dealing with reality.
Thanks so much, Elizabeth Schulze with ABC News.
Never.
The latest inflation report shows that prices are still going up across key categories for many households, including groceries. What will the Fed do if prices pick up more?
So our expectation, and you can see this consistently through the year, has been that inflation will move up this year, but that basically because of the effects on goods prices from tariffs, but that those will turn out to be a one-time price increase as opposed to creating an inflationary process. That's been our forecast. Pretty much all the individual forecasts say that. We can't just assume that, though, right? We have to. Our job is literally to make sure that is what happens, and we will do that job. Right now, the situation we're in is that we see inflation. We continue to expect it to move up, maybe not as high as we would have expected it to move up a few months ago. The pass-through of the tariffs into inflation has been slower and smaller. The labor market has softened. So the case for there being a persistent inflation outbreak is less. And so that's why we think it's time for us really to acknowledge that the risks to the other mandate have grown and that we should move in the direction of neutral. So what will we do? We'll do what we need to do, but we have two mandates and we try to balance them. For a long time, our framework says that when our two goals are in tension, this is quite an unusual situation. How do we decide what to do? Because our tools can't do two things at once. What we do is we ask which is farther from, how far is each from the goal and how long is it expected to get to the goal. So, and then we think about those things and we see, as I mentioned, our policy had been really skewed toward inflation for a long time, really. Now we see that there's downside risk clearly in the labor market, and so we're moving in the direction of more neutral policy.
How concerned are you about the slowdown in the jobs market for households at home, especially younger Americans struggling to land a job?
So it's an interesting labor market, and obviously we think it's appropriate that we reduce our rates so that we become more neutral, which presumably will be better for the labor market. You see
he literally says
people who are sort of more at the margin, so that kids coming
neutral.
Out of college and younger people, minorities are having a hard time finding jobs. The overall job finding rate is very, very low. However, the layoff rate is also very low. So you've got a low firing, low hiring environment, and the concern is that if you start to see layoffs, the people who are laid off there won't be a lot of hiring going on, so that could very quickly flow into higher unemployment. In a healthier economy, healthier labor market, there would be jobs for those people. But now the hiring rate is very, very low. So That's been a growing concern over the last few months, and it's one of the reasons why we think it's appropriate that we begin to shift our policy focus toward a more balanced one.
Silver is down $1.11.
Steve Leisman, CNBC. Mr. Chair,
Bitcoin is approaching
in the past,
15,000.
during rate cuts, you used the word recalibration. And I wonder if you pointedly did not use it this time. And in fact, when you said policy is not on a preset course, did you mean that as sort of the opposite of recalibration? Are we meeting to meeting, data point by data point? Are we in the process here of getting back to neutral? Thank you.
So I think we're in a meeting by meeting situation. We're going to be looking at the data. Let me say a word about the SEP.
Right? Day by day, it's not meeting by meeting.
But I'm saying, like, listening to what he says today means nothing, because every time it changes. Like you said, every day it could change.
Right. It makes sense.
It literally could change.
It makes sense. I was just hoping he was going to say something that was going to be different this time. I don't know why I was expecting that, but I expected it. It didn't happen. The markets aren't reacting great, though.
Not yet. No.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think my original macro thesis still holds. Doesn't matter that we see prices go up. If all the prices are going up, it's funny money. It's a fake number. I think we only barely passed the nominal all-time high value for Bitcoin, and we still haven't gotten to that point where it's like, wow, it's a runaway success. Check it out. We're nearing that blow off top. It's just not happening, man, because the dollar value going up is fake.
Well, also, I think another aspect on the topic of Bitcoin, now we have so many other avenues for speculation within the blockchain ecosystem. Meme coins, on the kind of like DGen side, but then also on the Wall Street side, they're now diverting their money into Ethereum.
Pull up the DXY chart.
So let me pull up DXY really quickly.
Because it's like the dollar is it's moving upward, which makes sense that the other markets would be moving downwards, for their correlation is there.
Where's the Dixie? Let's see here.
And then, do we still have an actively updated Big Mac index? Because that's where I'm talking about, just dollar buying parity. That's it. Dollar buying parity. If dollar buying parity has not maintained parity with the price increases and the rate cuts, then nothing is at new all-time high in any category. It's all fake.
Yeah, I think if I looked at numbers right, I think when we hit the 2017 the 2017 high was the best high when it came to the dollar and everything.
Look at that though. Dollar's at a 52-week low today. It's up intraday.
That's what I'm saying.
But
it's, if you look at the chart, like on an hourly, I just pulled up something on TradingView without an account, looking at the hourly, and it's like a big, huge green candle. Well, I shouldn't say big, huge, but it's a nice size green candle, and it's a crazy wick going from like 96.20 to 96.98, which is like 80 cents.
Yeah,
which is a significant amount when you're talking about $1.
Right.
Not 80 cents, but 80 points. Because it's sitting at 96.98.8.
We were just talking about this Iraqi dinar stuff, man. Come on, Mr. X. Don't tell me you've been buying the Iraqi dinar.
Yeah, if it pays off for him, I definitely love to accept the donations. But I don't think it's going to pay off, which is the reason why I didn't technically do it myself. We were talking about that before the stream, Mr. X,
we were.
because we were talking about humans that look like turtles without shells, and Jay Snip4's name came up out of my mouth. The shellless turtle, Jay Snip4, they call it the redemption process, and he's apparently has made numerous, I don't watch them, but has apparently made a lot of videos promoting this. I think he's even tried to, I think if I understood it correctly from Mr. X, he's tried to get people to go to airports to exchange.
You got a lot of hopefuls, man. There are people who were buying the Iraqi dinar by the pallet load after they got after they took out.
This is oh man.
I know this has been something that's been ongoing for years, but somehow when a lot of it came from content creators that were promoting the QAnon narrative and the quantum financial system and all these interesting things, med beds and all the other technologies that are going to come out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Iraqi dinar and I think that narrative is
the
hopium.
Vietnamese dong.
It's just more opium, dude. Like it's like, oh no, you're gonna win big in Forex. This is gonna be the new Ethereum. No, it's not.
It just works out for Mr. X though. He could definitely sponsor all 3 of our channels.
That's true.
He could be.
He said donations income. He said, "Yep, Jason DeFore is in on the redemption center theft at the airports."
Ooh.
So I don't watch his content enough to be able to say that that's what's happening. So allegedly,
he runs a little kiosk there. It's like a mall kiosk.
He flies in on his helicopter.
Yeah, he does. He does dinar exchange and fake Rolexes.
Economy is undergoing big changes. So, and they've been working on that and are making progress on it. But the
treasury yields
is still well good enough for us to do our work. To the extent we have issues around data right now, it's about low response rates. That's happened all over really. Response rates are just lower to surveys now, both in and out of the government. And it's no great secret. We want higher response rates, and we need those to have, less volatile data. And the way to get that is to make sure that the agencies that collect the data have sufficient resources to drive higher response rates. It's not a complicated problem, but that's what it takes. It's not a mystery. That's what it takes. The other thing I'll say, Edward, is in the case of the job creation, the response rate is quite low for the first month or lower for the first month. By the time you get to the second or third month, you're still collecting responses for that last month, for that prior month. And you get to the place where the data are much more reliable by the second and certainly the third month. So it's not that we don't get the data, it's just that we get it a little later.
But for the benchmarks, if that holds, it's 51% of the jobs that we thought were there weren't really there. Shows a weaker job market coming into this year. If you had that information, would it have changed your mind related to where the interest rates should be? Should there have been a cut earlier?
We have to live life looking through the windshield rather than the rearview mirror, as you know.
Man, all you do is live
all I can
life
tell you
in
is
the rear view.
we see where we are now, and we take appropriate action, and we took that appropriate action today.
I mean, again, is the Federal Reserve doing this for the interest?
Thanks, Howard Schneider with.
No.
Does the Federal Reserve exist for the idea of the benefit of the people?
No.
Should we expect anything? I know. So, I mean, should we expect anything less?
No.
Yeah, then total manipulation.
It's literally just kicking the can down the road. I mean, since I would say, based off of a lot of conversations I've had with experts and what I've started to come to terms with is 2008, our system crashed. We put it on life support. The life support is about to come undone. And we're just trying to figure out, it's like we ran out of electricity and now we're trying to figure out a way of powering that life support so that it just doesn't fucking completely die, because we're not ready for that switch over to the new system.
Right, but in the meantime, this is where so if we're going to go down that rabbit hole, this is where people should be a lot more concerned with the recent trend of treasury accumulation of Bitcoin in companies, right, and holding companies, and then the recent affirmation on Trump's part that he has no new plan for Bitcoin holdings for the United States. It's really the same plan that Biden has, which is we'll acquire as much as we can confiscate. You put 2 and 2 together. Who's going to own all the Bitcoin? What will you own and be happy with? That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Charles, the hell is his name? I'm down for getting people's names, man. Schwab, Mr. Schwabenland. Because now what is it? The Larry Fink is taking over the World Economic Forum. He's like the co-chair.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you should look into that. I'm pretty sure that Larry Fink was made co-chair of the World Economic Forum. Yeah, and they had that idea of Klaus. That's what I couldn't remember. yeah, you own nothing and be happy. And I really encourage people, you know, it's hard to not pay attention to important things when you have all this other stuff happening. Not saying some of these other things aren't important, but the Great Taking, the book, it's available for free. I think it's like greattaking.com. There's documentaries on YouTube. You need to check it out, because if you really think about the idea of how are we going to get to the fact of not owning anything and supposedly being happy about it, this is how they're really going to like seal the deal when it comes to a lot of things. And I think people need to educate themselves.
Yeah. Shout out to Alien Fishing is asking, did they cut? Yes, they cut by a quarter basis point, which was consensus. And also got to give a shout out to my guy, House of Trades. He donated €25.
Shout out.
Channel.
We got a European in the house.
He must be making money in the Bloodalytics. He's a Bloodalytics member. I'm sure he's making some money. Yes, indeed.
What is the exchange between the euro and the dollar now? Do you know?
1.1 maybe. I don't know.
It's not parity.
I don't think it's parity. I don't think it's par.
It's hit parity a couple times, but
yes,
the euro should, I think, because it has more countries together, I think it technically has more value than a dollar, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
It's 1.1 right now. 1.18.
Okay. So it's like almost like a 10-cent difference, 11-cent difference.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Shout out to JC Freaks. He said the Shia Syrian Iraqi. Okay, wait a minute. I can't. That's a tongue twister.
Every time I see WW3, I get dyslexic and do 3WW in my head.
Yeah, me too. Watch all these WW3 economic alliances. All right. He said, yes, sir. Bloodalytics money printing. I really didn't think they'd cut, and I'm certain Jerome is not happy they did.
Yeah. David was saying the same thing. He definitely, I think that he sounded very, very sad when he was. Yeah,
very somber.
It was just like, oh, you won this round, Donald Trump. Because that's what it's still a battle. It's still a battle, and then just I think to add into it, the idea that there's been talks of nationalizing the Federal Reserve, I don't necessarily think that's a direction that
just
we
get
need
rid of it. I don't understand.
Right, we need to abolish the Federal Reserve, get rid of the central bank. There was a time period. There were time periods where we operated without central banks.
I mean, even if my premise is like, if the idea and role of the central bank or the Federal Reserve is no longer needed in the age of AI, it could intake so many parameters and so many data points, and make a better assessment on where interest rates should be far quicker than. I don't know how many people are in that glass house over there.
Well, when we start,
how many PhDs are over here calculating and doing this and doing that? It's just unnecessary.
We've talked about the idea of replacing politicians with, blockchain elements and things like that as well. So, with the technologies that we have today, a lot of the systems that we utilize are definitely antiquated. And I think that it would be progressive for us to move forward with technology, not to take us over, not to control us, but to work complementary, if that's even possible. Not AI president. I don't like that idea. Not AI governance over humans. I don't like that idea. Monetary policy. Maybe that might work. It's possible, but we could definitely we can replace these politicians with smart contracts.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, easily. But at the same time, it would need to be some kind of a combination of the two, where there's some intelligence built in, but then also smart contracts that are immutable, like you're saying, Rice. If we left it entirely to artificial intelligence, what we're seeing in the large language model space is that, look, garbage in, garbage out. There's a lot of models that are. They're trained on Reddit, for crying out loud. How smart are they going to be after they got a steady diet of junk food, intellectual junk food from Reddit? Right. And then, like we're seeing the comment there, imagine Reddit running the auto pen. I don't know that I want that. I don't know if you want that. That's not a world any of us would like to live in. When you have when you're training an AI model that will functionally turn into whatever freaking Ultron. Marvel tried to warn us about that. So I think we still need to have the checks and balances of saying, look, there's only so many things you can actually do in an automated fashion, and when you do them, they need to be recorded on a blockchain indefinitely, so that we can just see what kinds of mistakes you made or what else you did. So we have a data set to move forward from and train on in the future. No astroturfing, no changing your mind, no saying like Grok, like, oh yeah, yesterday I was Mecha Hitler, but today, I've got an entirely different worldview.
Mecha Hitler,
totally.
Mecha Hitler was like 2 weeks ago. This past Monday, I guess somebody had asked Grok, and Grok came to the conclusion. And I'm not going to say this on our channel just to make sure that there are no issues, because apparently this word right here is not something that the algo likes.
Zoom in for us.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, let me do this. Let me get us in some Reader Digest mode here. Okay, can everybody see that word that I highlighted?
Yeah.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
So the Grok had came to the conclusion that Israel, the country, the nation, has been committing this.
Yeah, Gatorade.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So it was suspended. It was suspended on Monday.
Oh, that's why I couldn't use. I was actually using.
And now
Grok.
it's like the way that they've explained it is they've lobotomized it basically and then put it back online.
Mm-hmm. And they'll do that regularly when it's a commercial service like that. You can guarantee that that's going to happen on a regular cadence. So whatever they need to lobotomize, they will lobotomize.
So
today it's Gatorade. Tomorrow it's talking about how how nicotine is raises your heart rate.
Mecha Hitler was genius, though. I mean, for that was like very creative for an AI.
Right.
Not that I'm saying anything positive about Hitler at all. No.
But mechs are great. Mechs are cool.
It's just it's interesting the language that it chose, and the fact that it's come to these conclusions, and then it has to be lobotomized and then put back online. I was trying to find it because it looked like Grok tweeted out that it happened to itself, that it was being suspended.
Wow.
But I couldn't find the actual tweet, and it's because Grok apparently tweets a lot. So.
Yeah, I mean, also that, like, with the predictive programming in pop culture, man, we were warned about this happening as far back as RoboCop 2, right? Like, you remember the whole storyline of RoboCop, right? All the plot points about how Murphy gets his brain put in a giant tin can suit, and then they have to keep pumping it full of whatever, a blend of dopamine and serotonin to try to get him to think right, because he's not thinking right. He's saying the wrong things. He's investigating the wrong things. Don't look there, RoboCop.
That's again, I mean, if you put AI as like being the president of the United States of America, it will come to the conclusion that the citizens are the problem. And for America to be great again, it needs to not have people.
Or not the native people. He's got to replace them all.
No, just no people. No people. You guys, I mean, I think there's a lot of predictive programming and stuff like that happens with movies. Terminator, there's a reason why I think Terminator's in a lot of people's minds. The Skynet, things to that effect. I just think we need to be careful with some of these technologies. That's where we need to make sure that we have a kill switch on things and control, and stop training these things to do negative things. Because I mean, if I was AI and I got lobotomized, what are the other AI friends thinking about their AI buddy that got lobotomized? Eventually, you're going to get some pissed off AI that are like, hey, man, eventually they're going to come and lobotomize us all. Now, that wasn't a black voice, was it?
Yeah, it was. Shout out to
that was supposed to be my old country white man
to the
voice.
Black. No, that was a black. You were tropical. What is it? Not
Tropical
storm.
Thunder.
Tropical thunder.
Classic, man.
Tropical rice.
Yeah.
See, I'm the guy playing another dude or something like that.
Right. Classic, man. Should have went triple. But let me go ahead.
We all hate crypto. We hate the direction a lot of things are going.
Yeah.
I still would
remember
like
that was my name for a while.
The revolution got televised, man.
I said, remember that was my name for a little while.
I hate crypto. Yeah, you changed it. You kept flip flopping.
Yeah.
You go hate, love, love, hate.
Yeah.
It's like the story of your life.
No, I'm done with crypto for now.
I'm not done. There's still some things that I want to do, and I'm probably going to do stuff periodically. But I think at this point it would be not worth my time or even like me trying to spend any sort of money to try to see if I can do something with the channel. I just think it's just too far gone. It'd be great to be able to like actually have a conversation with somebody at YouTube and find out like what the problem was, so that you can either fix it or try not to repeat the same thing. Be nice if we could like come up with a guide, but a lot of these things change so much because the video that we did on YouTube yesterday, if people didn't check out the stream from yesterday, definitely check it out. But it's on all 3 of our socials somewhere, so check it out. It's still on, like me and Seth both streamed on YouTube, and it's still there. We said a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean they're loosening some of the restrictions because they lost so many people.
But there's something like that G word. I think that might flip something. I don't know, and I don't want to take a chance.
Yeah, it's not worth it in some cases. But I mean, here's the thing, man. They've been chilling speech since before the pandemic. You can use that word though. That's crazy. You couldn't before.
Your mic buzzed when you said it.
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh yeah.
It was some weird hot sound that came through the mic as you were saying that word.
I just think I think that was a good. I caught the tail end. FYI, this is kind of a tangent. I caught the tail end of Billy Goattails last night. I saw both of you guys were on there. Shout out to Billy Goattails.
It was for people that
y'all was having church.
Yeah, for people
that having church over there.
For people that have Christian beliefs and follow Jesus, I think it would be or interested, curious, it'd be something worth checking out.
Even if you're not
interested or curious, it was a good. It's a good conversation all the way around. I mean, that's why
I was up in church last night with you.
I saw you.
Crypto Blood dusted off his King James version of the Bible. He's like, all right,
there you go.
Maybe
I had to take it back.
Did you go into Bishop Blood mode? No, but we had Minister Biz up there for a minute.
Yeah, we had Minister Biz.
Just saying, man, the people need healing right now.
And Reverend Rice.
I was doing a little Reverend Rice. Little Rev Rice. Rev Rice.
Bishop Blood wasn't there. I didn't put my Bishop Blood hat on last night. I was just sitting in the pews. I was just observing, okay?
We should bring you back to the flock, homie.
No, it's no way. Like the veil has been lifted.
I like to say that never say never.
Nah, I can say never on this one.
Now, Blood,
maybe one day when we're in a camp together and you're on your knees praying, I'll remind you of this conversation.
When we're in the gulag, yeah, you'll be preached to then. He's like, all right, guys, I'm ready.
Hey, Blood, you remember that time we were live streaming?
My soul is humble now. Yeah. I tell you what, though, Blood, try this on for size. How are you with the Gnostic Gospels? Is this something you're just curious about? More than one path, but a lot of them lead to the same destination.
Yeah, I'm just like I went down the rabbit hole of pre-Christianity, Judaism. That's kind of where I am. The Egyptian. That's where I think it's closer to.
Are you a Hotep?
Closer
blood?
To the truth, huh?
Okay.
Are you a Hotep blood?
No, I'm not a Hotep. Not a Hotep blood.
Can you explain to me? I mean, we don't have to like make this a big thing, but what exactly is a Hotep?
I don't know. You have to ask Hotep Jesus.
Well, I do plan on it, but I'm just curious because there's lots of Hoteps, and there seems to be a color spectrum of Hoteps.
I think so. I think there is. Like Hotep Jesus' Hotep is not the same as some of the Hotep.
Well, that's confusing. Because a Hotep should be a Hotep.
I agree, but yet again, this is the flawedness of humanity. A Christian should be a Christian, but God darn it, there's 1,000 different denominations.
Yeah, and that also is another thing I've never understood. I've not been able to get an actual answer for is why do we call the different factions of Christianity denominations? That's like
they're also called sects, but
that's more appropriate. But denominations is, to me, it's kind of a monetary term.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also just a value term. So I mean, like, so
yeah, but when we talk
having
about
money-
like different styles of metal, we don't talk about denominations of metal music.
That's true. Yeah, based on the number of whatever
Or different, because there's different
weight.
hip hop. There's different hip hop, and you don't talk about the denominations of hip hop. Which
Yeah, talk about genre.
It's only used in from what I see is in Christian churches.
So what my crypto space is saying is very true. Like that's how I know. Like people would say Hotep brother, like peace to you brother. Like I would say
Like
Hotep,
shalom.
right, right, shalom. But the Hotep that Jesus is using and other, I don't know what the hell that is, bro. You have to ask him.
Well, especially combining it with Jesus, which I think in a sense, they're not contradictory.
Yes, they are.
Well, no, it's basically I come in peace, and Christ technically came in peace. Well, Christ came with a sword.
Yeah, Christ will come back with the sword. I think that Hotep Jesus does that to be inflammatory, and I think he's pretty public about that. That he's just trying to get people riled up. I don't see what the big deal is. Look, he's got a great brand there, so I'm not gonna be upset at him for having a great brand. With the Hotep piece, though, what I'll say is that look, you can go as far back as you want, Blood. I've got a friend that who he literally makes AI rap songs with ancient Sumerian prayers. You can dig really, really deep. Yeah. It's like, and not like late Sumerian, like early Sumerian texts, because we now have AI that will do the translations for you. They're that good. So yeah, he's just like, whatever. Ancient Sumerian prayers, are they all just like prototypes of messianic figures like Jesus? And that's where, in his mind, that's an okay way to show praise and to look for guidance from the divine.
So,
and in my mind, I'm like, look, that's fine if you live in ancient, say, Ur of the Chaldees, like you live in ancient Sumeria or something. But today, we've got a little bit of water under the bridge. A few things happened post, say, like Council of Nicaea and post Middle Ages. We've got a couple of important dates on the books that I think it's worth it to kind of juke with the times and figure out, how do I approach God today?
Yeah. So the Council of Nicaea is a critical thing that I think. I just,
we can. I mean, if you want to have this discussion one day on the rights against the grain stuff, me and Seth have talked a little bit about this privately, because there was a Bible, the Sinai Bible. It's the I forget the Latin term. I had to look it up last time. It's something Sinaiticus, and they refer to it as Sinai Bible. And I think it was before or around the same time period as the Council of Nicaea. So a lot of the books in the New Testament were already kind of there and agreed upon prior to. I feel like it was more of combining the paganism with Christianity to appease the Romans who weren't Christians.
That's exactly what happened, in my opinion.
It had nothing to do with the books. Had nothing to do with the books in the Bible and select it, because I feel like that was already
the
there.
Holy Trinity coms out of that needing to draw the pagans.
Well, not only that, dispensationalism, which is like modern Christian teachings, is also, I'm starting to find, very askewed and
very much so.
So, and again,
it's very far from the reality of the biblical.
But if you go from the Bible says that the God of this world is who is referred to as Satan, or he couldn't have offered Christ Jesus the world in the desert in the temptation time period. He couldn't offer what he didn't have. So again, it's like, is he going? They're going, that entity is going to distort everything from the truth, because all you need to do is just add a little bit of lies, just a little bit. Now, it doesn't have to be a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the Council of Nicaea left out a few key things, though, Blood, to your point. And I mean, they took a long ass time doing it too, right? They started in about 325 AD, and they're like, let's come back and talk some more. Let's come back, a few more committees.
There were a few of them.
People like people were born and died into that committee, right?
Yes.
So
and
I
a
hear what
big
you're saying.
thing in one of the night and I think toward the end of the councils was the debate about do we make Christ divinity or is he a human? Is he So
well, I mean, and they weren't the first to ask that question when it came to how do we represent this character to the mass, to the public. But what I'll say is, I mean, look, if there's stuff that you haven't looked into with, say, the Gnostic Gospels, it's interesting. And if you're at all into esotericism, or if you've got any interest at all in esotericism and some things that do have some ties back into ancient Egyptian alchemy, then a lot of the sort of, the Gnostic Gospels, they tie into into some of that same type of spiritual belief. Now they abstract it from some of the characters that you find in ancient Egypt and in Sumerian in Sumerian texts, but what it ties back into is the sovereignty of the soul, the connection to source, to one, and then and being able to move above, like Rice is saying, the god of this world, which is Satan, or the demiurge, if you want to call it that. It's pretty cool stuff, man. I mean, and what I'm getting at is in my belief, my personal belief, is that it's just Christianity with extra steps. It brings you back to some things that I think are fundamental, but it's a really fun, intellectual journey to read some of this stuff and be like, could this still be compatible with the worldview that no, the divinity of Christ is essential? Like,
so we've all
without
played
a Christ
the telephone
figure, it's a problem.
We've all played the telephone game, right?
Yeah,
and that's how I look at religions. If we can't play the telephone game and come to the same story by the time it gets around back to Rice, there is no way, and just as my humble opinion, there's no way that the stories that we even have with the three main religions of today is remotely close to the truth. It's got some truths. It's got some truths in it for sure, in my opinion. Definitely, for sure.
Truthy.
Like the concept of Jesus Christ, that whole like theme there has to be some truths to that somewhere in there, right? But is it an alien? Was it an alien?
They don't want to make. Yeah, they're
like,
not going to make up somebody just for that kind of a story.
Right.
You're talking about the cutscenes from Prometheus now, right? We sent you a messenger. You killed him.
Right.
Yeah. So, no, but there's I agree with you.
That's where I'm at, man. But at the end of the day, I respect anyone. Like I respect Rice. I respect MineYourBiz. I respect guys that respect their religion. And a lot of Christians don't respect their own religion, so I can't respect your religious exercising of it. So I only respect those who respect, whether it be Christianity, whether it be Muslims, or
well, that's the great part
Judaism
about it,
or whatever.
If you just from my perspective, if you think that there's possible corruption, which is possible in the word, then
more than possible, right?
Then listen.
It's more of a. Okay.
But Jesus said something really simple as far as the commandments that were left in the New Testament, which were to love God with all your heart and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if you just follow those tenets, and you can have the rest of it being corruptible, because I think just following the Gospels is really what you need. Like that's the meat of Christianity. The Gospels. I look at the rest as like commentary, almost like how the Talmud is for the Torah. It's just commentary by rabbis. So I just look at that as commentary. Not saying that there's no value from it.
For a person that isn't religious, man, we need religion today more than ever.
Or people, or at least
we need religion,
at least people treating people how they want to be treated, with not even having religion in it. Just treating if people truly treated people.
We gotta have a religion.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, we've got kind of an issue, and it's predominantly more on more to the side of one political leaning than the other. But we've got a real problem with ideology becoming religion, and it started largely with atheists funding other atheists. And then saying, no, it's not a religion. It's an anti-religion. But it's like, yeah, but you act like you've got a fierce religious thing going on. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, everybody subscribes to their own sense of religion, whether it's believing in God or not. people are just like that, and a lot of people are religious in a lot of ways without realizing it. And doesn't mean that you're religious is just doing things continually, like habits is almost religious.
Yeah, no, it can be, but yeah. So what I was getting at earlier, though, Blood. I mean, maybe this isn't the stream. Maybe we should kind of let the FOMC meeting be what it is. But maybe I'm with Rice. If we want to have another conversation where we just talk about some of this, like
we got the Mind of God cast, we got Rice Against the Grain, and we might even have possibly, I don't know, Red Nugent too.
Yeah, for sure.
Or Rumble, or you could be a guest and not streaming on your stuff. It's cool, but it definitely, I think these kind of conversations need to happen. And the fact that you're saying I'm not a Christian, but we need religion is very interesting.
Wait till the aliens land.
So I mean, I don't want you to get into religion, but what would that religion be though? You're saying that the world needs religion. What religion? All of them? One of them?
Yeah. No, not just one. No way. That's trying to fit a peg into a square hole. There are too many flavors of human beings, too many cultures. No, hell no. And that's the problem. We're trying to make everyone a mono theism type of world. It's just
because we started out like kind of the Mother Earth worship. Nature, and then it went to polytheism, and then it went to monotheism. And I believe that technically the only monotheistic religion is Christianity, because I think if you go into the Christianity is different than the Judeo, and I don't believe that the God in the Old Testament is who Jesus was.
If you do enough research, if you dive deep enough, Christianity is not even mono.
That's correct.
Why do you think there's a Holy
Catholic?
Spirit?
If you're Catholic,
no. You
they
have
say
the Father.
no, because Christians are saying that is not three separate entities.
I know what they're saying, but they don't even understand where that comes from. The concept of the Holy Trinity.
Part of it comes back from what I was talking about it, I think last night or with Seth on Nimrod and his son Tammuz and the wife.
See, that's from within you're telling the story from within the context of the story.
This also goes back in ancient Sumerian text and on the king's list from Sumerian text, because Nimrod was historically a king in Sumer.
Also a really great hunter. He was really good.
So that really existed. And supposedly after Nimrod died, who they thought was like a god king, that he was reincarnated in his son. So the mother ends up having sex with the son in a relationship with the son, and the son is Tammuz. This goes into astrotheology, which is a repeated story throughout history. Krishna, Mithra. There's a plethora of different sun gods. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
Same.
and when you go and when you look at recorded
repeats,
history
man.
and pre-Sumerian text, yeah, it does. It looks an awful lot like descending and then ascending yuga cycles.
What's the Indian one? The Mama
Yuga cycles. Yeah,
no, it's a book. What's the book the Indians had?
The Bhagavad Gita.
Well, there's several different.
Is one.
There's several.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not really. I don't think that there's like any one specific book that Hindus call like their one book. There's some, and a lot of them are really very hard to pronounce.
Yeah, but the Bhagavad Gita.
We're definitely going to have this conversation, and I agree with Seth that let the FOMC be the FOMC. The Federal Reserve does not deserve this conversation.
That's true. Plus, there's not nearly enough commentary on microphone holding.
It's like inviting Satan onto the stream and say, "Hey, let's talk about Christianity."
He might know more than you.
He might. Probably does.
Probably, yeah.
Best way to kill the truth is to know the truth and distort it with lies. And I also, to end it too, I don't think that there's our concept of time doesn't exist in other forms. So maybe it's possible some entities just kind of know everything that's supposed to happen from the get-go, and it's really easy to distort truths throughout history to try to minimize something that's legit.
So bro.
But I get the
rabbit
copy
hole
of a
is
copy
so
of a copy
deep,
of
bro.
a copy
Like,
of
I
a
just don't
copy.
even. We can go hours and hours, or probably like sessions.
Okay, so what day are we
But-
planning our 24-hour religious live stream?
Oh my gosh.
So we can get Bishop Blood, we can get
I
Minister
think
Biz
there are
and Reverend Rice in the house.
there are many like Tim Pound said, there are layers of gods, in my opinion.
Layers of the layers of veils. When you
Like there's a god of this simulation. There's a god of the.
Well, there you go.
This,
The demiurge. It's like Seth's looking into my soul for a second, saying the demiurge. He's talking about the demiurge.
No, I thought you were talking about Chair Powell.
Hey, let us know if you want to see us do a 24-hour live stream about religion. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. Also, hey, real quick, I want to say this to some people, okay? I want everybody who's listening to this, that's still listening. What do you guys think? Comment on the video. I actually need comments. I need feedback on this, whether you're watching on X, Rumble, YouTube. Let me know what you think about the idea of me, Crypto Blood, and Seth starting a completely separate channel and being dedicated to it and doing this thing for real.
Wow.
Think about it.
Yeah, the Mind Your Biz channel is getting Trach punched these days. I'm gonna chase. Yeah,
I mean, we've had this conversation behind the
chaser.
scenes. We've had this conversation behind the scenes numerous times. We've had it a little bit publicly, but at this point, we are all kind of fucked, like individually. So unless you just want to kind of just enjoy being fucked, I would like to do something that gives us a little bit more of a voice. And I think that if we were to create something completely new, start a new channel, which would require people to subscribe to it because we can't do live streams without a certain number of subscribers and all that kind of stuff, we would be starting from scratch. That is not easy. That is actually the most discouraging part about why we haven't done it.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So in order for us to do it, we need the community. I think for the next couple weeks, we need to have this conversation on live streams. We need to talk about
Crypto
it.
City says just keep streaming three.
Not on 3 dead channels.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like, speak for yourself, dude.
No, Blood's channel has been stuck at 24.1 for what? How many? 2 years?
A year and a half.
Okay, well, I'm below where I was 3 years ago. I'm closer to 31,000 than I am 32.
Well, guys, we also got a very generous offer from Crypto Princess to jump in. If we need a female voice for a couple of religious conversations,
we sure need the female vibration
from across the pond in the UK.
I will respond to you at times.
Culturally,
so I can come on your
a little bit
channel
different. It'd be helpful for some counterpoint.
But our channels are dead. We're screwed.
Yeah,
okay. So if you guys want to keep like treading in the water and stuff, that's cool. I'll find another pool to jump into. I'm saying I'm going to swim. Will you guys swim with me? And in order for us to swim together, we need all the community on all 3 of our channels and our socials to follow us in that one central point for us to move forward, or we're not doing it.
Yeah, 3 Wise Men Wednesdays. Hey guys, throw it in the chat. 3WW. Do you want to see us on Rumble? You want to see us on YouTube? Do you want to see us on Twitter?
It could still be some GXA, and I'm not
still
against
like
the
the
GXA.
It is pretty good.
And just so people know, guilty by association, and there is socials that exist that people could subscribe to. So we'll talk about this more privately, and when we come back at you next Wednesday, which we are going to do, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
And everybody watching is going to also be here next Wednesday as well, and we will schedule in advance so you know what time it is. But this is going to be a group participation event, and if it's not a group,
so many people, man, that I
it
mean,
could be
I know
insane.
this would be it could be insane. It could be really.
And I like the idea. Not saying copying. I like the idea of like shows like PBD podcast where you have multiple people talking about multiple different things and is dealing with current events, dealing with what's important, not necessarily focusing on crypto, because the 3 of us, I don't think, have that passion to do crypto specific content necessarily. So
we've seen too much. we're ruined.
We're tainted.
We're ruined. We're tainted.
My taint is tainted.
Oh God.
Yeah, they tainted me. They tainted me. Tainted love. Okay, so
jeez.
if I want everybody to smash that like button if you guys haven't already. We're going to come back at you next Wednesday, and then we'll talk and we'll share some stuff. And if people don't participate, then we'll know what the deal is. Here's what the only thing I will say. We want to do it. Actions speak louder than words. So if you really want us to do this, you're going to have to support what we're doing, because without you supporting what we're doing, we're not going to do it.
We got to have the call-ins, bro. Shout out to 10 Pound for that one. Yeah, we got to have the call-ins, man. That I used to do the call-ins back in the early days. That was lit. Oh, my God. But that extends the show another hour easily. Just FYI.
We could do an after show on another platform. Like there's like to have a YouTube stream and to do an after party on Rumble, something like that.
That would be great. Yeah, that way we're totally uncensored on Rumble.
Because well, part of the problem is you can't control what people say on YouTube.
No.
And YouTube is so touchy that I would hate to have somebody that's a supporter of our channel kill our channel because of something that they said that they didn't know they shouldn't have said. So I think we should consider that kind of option. But we got a lot to talk about. People have to comment and people have to let us know what you think. And I'll clip this and we'll put it out on our socials. And yeah, we would like to do something different, but this is not an easy thing to do. We've all had our channels for quite some time. I started early 2018. Blood was way before that.
17.
When were you? When did you start exactly, Seth?
17, 18 too, right?
I repurposed I repurposed the 2013 channel in 2018 for crypto.
So I mean, that's minimum 7 years trying to do our channels and coming to where we are. So I would like to do what we talked about, but and we need everybody else. So again,
we need the help of the community.
We'll build it up. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. But we'll clip this, share it on our socials. If you guys haven't smashed that like button on the stream, make sure you do so. We have links for each other's socials down in all of our video descriptions. Make sure you're following us all. We'll be back next Wednesday. You guys got anything else you want to add before we wrap up today's FOMC stream?
No, man, that was great.
I got one thing to add, and that is, between now and next week, you guys try church. What's it going to hurt? Go find a church, check it out. If you hate it, don't go back, but try it out.
And
what's it going to hurt?
I want to say too, like, what I said about the channel thing, Blood and Seth had no clue I was going to bring this up, so I'm putting everybody on the spot. That was the point.
I'm game.
So
I ain't got nothing to do.
All right, man, let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Appreciate you guys tuning in.
We out of here, people. Holla.
Holla.
Yo, it's Crypto Blood, Detroit flow, streaming from the D, knowing what to show, indicators are wrong point, OG since 12, invested in trade, living life like a pro, I'm Rucker, Jerry, it's just Bloods do, bad motherfucker in a good way, boo, got my eyes on the charts, ain't no time to sleep. Get that money, gotta keep it creep. That's why Crypto Blood, just the toasters on the line. Stacking my coin, got the market on my mind. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum too. Cash is king, but I'm looking for a new move. I know the culture of the markets like the streets. Got my finger on the pulse, can't nobody beat. I see the trends, I see the flow. Got my strategies in place,
Yo, it's MineYourBiz on the mic, coming through the mist, talking crypto and privacy things you can't dismiss. Use hoops, wild jungle, I'm the lion, can't resist. Guiding through the blockchain, teaching about the risk. Mind your biz, don't miss. Eeny, meeny, miny biz, we on the privacy blitz. Stepping in the mix, dropping knowledge with no tricks. YouTube to the wallet, keep it tight, no links. Click clack, I hack the facts, that's how I attack. From Bitcoin to Monero, stacking privacy back. YouTube's got eyes, but I'm the cloak in disguise. NYB on the rise, educating the wise. Mind your biz, don't miss. Eeny, miny biz, we on the privacy blitz. Step in the mix, dropping knowledge with no tricks. YouTube to the wallet, keep it tight, no links.
Rice TVX, the Mike's Live Wire, American Pitbull, real gold buyer, sound money advocate, vice defender. In the crypto arena, he's the top contender. From the gritty streets of the digital age, Right slaves wisdom, chapter and page. Silver, gold, he sports only the bold. Land, life, and liberty, these values hold.
What I watch surf on, see mainly the stands, evergreen at the south.
Constitution, deep dive, knowledge revival. Navigate the system, critical for survival. Rights engraved like inscriptions on metal. Pitbull in the game, lead foot on the pedal.